in general. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? We're fine, yes?
Yeah.
Let me know if I'm speaking a little too fast, isn't it? This is some clarified butter, and this is called in India a ghee. It's clarified butter is basically a butter where we separate the milk from the fat, and what it does is that you are able to have the butter that have a breaking point that is higher. So you can use it just like if it was an oil, basically. Yeah. That's the idea. Here we have a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the sugar and the salt with the flour, and we're going to try not to get the yeast in contact with this. Okay, and we're going to use our hands. Chef, can you see the water for me over there? So what we're going to try to do is to activate the yeast actually. And in order to activate the yeast, we need to warm a little bit the water. The water is warm? So I show you, it's a funny trick that you have here. Water comes out this way. Have a look how fast it gets hot. It's just amazing. It's a very good tool to see. Look, it's starting already to boil. Here, we really don't want to have the water boiling now. We just want a warm water. We want to put it with our yeast. I will give a little more water, isn't it? Yes. So one typical thing in India, this is Vijay. Vijay is the sous chef here with us. And of course, is from Alsace. I'm sorry, it's Alsatian and I am Indian actually. Exactly. So we're all learning from each other. Here we have a kitchen where we have 2 Chinese chefs, 3 Thai chefs, and 3 Indian as well, and we have yes, exactly, Indonesian chef as well. We just had one that left us, so that's why we're hesitating. We're waiting for a new chef from Indonesia to come. So basically, now we have our. So now we're gonna put in the center the yogurt. Just progressively add the yeast. Little whisk. So like any other bread, what you do, is if it's hot outside, you don't have to put very, very hot water. If it's cold outside, you will put the water that is a little hotter. Why? Because the yeast develops around 30 degrees, exactly. You have made bread before? Ah. So, we want to do a dough, so I believe it's better to do it by hand. No? Voilà. And again, when you do this process, what you try to do is not to have any salt that gets in contact with the yeast. What the salt does usually to the yeast, it has a tendency to burn the yeast, and then it doesn't develop anymore. So it's really, when you think about it, we are doing our bread exactly the same. One particularity when you do Indian food, really, is we add yogurt into everything, almost.
Aber ich glaube, das war ein anderes, oder? Das war nicht dieses Naan Bread.
What kind of butter did you say that was?
This is a clarified butter.
And would you be able to buy that in the supermarket?
In order to make a clarified butter, it's very simple. You just take some plain butter, you put it on the side of your stove and you let it melt. And without moving it, it's going to separate. And once it separates, you just have to collect the fat. So the milk will go on the bottom, the petit lait it's called in French, and the milk goes, and the fat goes on top, and you just separate the fat, which is only the oil basically.
And that's what you want, the fat.
Yes, the fat, yes. We call that the clarified butter in English, and for the Indian it's ghee. It's called ghee. Voila. So here, I believe our pasta is ready. Here we did just a little bit, of course, every day. What we do is we make about 5 to 6 kilo worth of bread for the service. Okay. So now that we have done this, we're going to cover it with a clean film. And we're going to go all wash our hands and start to go to our areas to cook.
One question.